Hello, people. Hello. Person in the chat called In Recovery. I haven't seen you before. Nice to see you. It's always good to see people. I know the stream on my main channel went on briefly, but that's because I put the wrong stream key in. I suppose I should still stick to my original strategy of streaming on this channel until my second strike is expired at the end of the month. Judging from all I've been hearing on the news and everything, it seems that obviously normal life is suspended. People are... Perhaps I'm behaving in an... I don't know, am I behaving in a out of the ordinary way? I just got really annoyed with somebody who didn't support secular Quranism, and you're going to say, oh, but nobody does anyway, Claire, nobody does. And I do get that, but when somebody who is Muslim won't support it, okay, I know most cultural Muslims wouldn't anyway, because they'll be thinking that their kind of Islam is superior. But I'm thinking of the converts, people who used to be nationalists, and still are kind of. And I suppose the I don't know what I think. I mean, really, I think they ought to support me, but I know they won't, and I kind of knew they wouldn't anyway. No, but you never supported secular Quranism anyway, did you, that woman? And you know it's not even in any way an imminent prospect. You know how unlikely it is that I'm even going to get any kind of support for secular Quranism. So I just can't see all the hysteria attached to Vincent and you. Like, if you supported me, Greater Israel would pop up the day after tomorrow and your lands will be swallowed up. It's I think you're just using it as an opportunity to show hatred for Israel again. Now, am I buffering? Well, I know the video output is low. But I guess very soon it'll sort itself out. It's good to have you in the chat to tell me what's happening. Yeah, it's pretty slow on the computer. Maybe it's just tired. Tired of all that shit about people not knowing what they're supposed to be doing. Anyway, I guess I was quite mean. He's blocked me. And you think, well, what if I die of the coronavirus? What if I die of Covid-19? Do I regret giving him so many big fat pieces of my mind? And I think, yeah, he ought to know that he's a beta male loser, and he ought to know why with his shit attitude nothing can be saved. I mean, I know that it's pretty much hopeless. You're talking to really losers bouncing along at the bottom, and the reason why they're there is because even if they're not completely low status, like sort of intelligent but still a social retard, and with a few saving graces, but basically you just know they're not going to get anywhere. They're basically unmarriageable and just arguing with me about how words should be defined, and I said, but no, it's like, I don't care if people disagree with me, but they have to agree with me in a way that is rational. Am I irrational at times? I really try to understand the other person's point of view. I try to think why they might disagree with me and why it might be awkward for them to agree with me and all sorts of things. And does it make me more forgiving now that I think I know what it is? Actually, no. So, I don't really feel that sorry to be so mean, because really, if you're a young man with no ambition, with a bad attitude and no social skills, and you're disagreeing with me like you think you've got something better to offer other than you're not quite liking what I say, but not be able to think of anything better or promote it better than me. No, I'm glad I let it out. I mean, it would be actually really sad if I died of COVID before telling him exactly what I thought of him. So I think I've stopped buffering. I'm actually a little tired. And I've sort of run out of things to say, so unless you can think of something to say in the chat about anything else that isn't to do with Covid-19, please post away. I will walk away for a moment. I'm not buffering anymore though, am I? So, what is this about, people's last words, the way they're talking? Oh, we need to, because life won't ever be the same again, and will it be some right-wing dictator who'll be in charge, and what do we want really? Don't we want a right-wing dictator to tell us what to do, and we'll just have to do it, and we won't wonder, well, should we do this, or should we do that? Should we obey, or shouldn't we obey? And what I think people want, of course, is clarity. They want moral clarity. They don't want to be assailed by doubt about what they should have, could have done. They want to know that there was no other way it could have been done, and I'm here because I was meant to be here. And that kind of thing, and it calms people down, it makes people more accepting of their fate, and these things should be explained better, and I do find that the religious explanation seems somehow more intellectually and morally satisfying, because I suppose you think, well, we've just got this plague, and some of us are going to die, and some of us are not going to die, but you're worried about yourselves and your loved ones, but I think if you took the religious view of it, you'd think, well, the Chinese, terrible people, atheists, eating animals in a particularly cruel way, and then, but why did the Iranians get punished? And you think, aha, I know a reason. And then you go on to the Italians, and then all the other countries. Who's third place after? Did they say that the more Italians have died of COVID than the Chinese themselves? That is a bit of a mystery, isn't it? But this city's going into lockdown thing. Don't you think that makes us more global, more global villagey, more? It's like, oh, you're shut down, are you, New Zealand? A New Yorker might think. And then all the way in the Far East, I know Malaysia's in lockdown. So does that make us feel somehow closer together? Is this capable of being enjoyed? I think so. Even, these sort of brief moments of anxiety, like, damn, I should have got this thing fixed. I should have got my potatoes, my carrots. Well, I managed to get all those things tonight, so I was... I felt blessed, people were nice, they were polite, I chatted to people. I looked Chinese, they were nice, people were nice to me. And And so I guess, going to the shops has now become a bit of an adventure. And you don't really know maybe when the shop is going to open again and how long they'll stay open for. And then, of course, you listen to other people talking about the effects of it on them, and they'll say, of course, they'll worry about crime, they'll worry about all kinds of things. But am I the only one who listened in on the religious narratives of this pandemic? I can't say that I feel more nervous about dying. I don't know. I feel really quite calm. I mean, I find the eerie silence a little irritating. I still think, I still hope that these ridiculous measures can be reversed. People might say, oh, but all these people have died. And I'm just saying, well, even if they have, I mean, because that was my position right from the beginning. It's like, even if people start dropping like flies, you should just carry on. Because what other dignified way of doing things is there? What other moral and dignified way of doing things is there? I mean, okay, you're going to feel so stupid if really not that many people died and the whole world kind of scuttled under the fridge like cockroaches. So you'll feel really stupid for destroying your economies, right? And your people will really hate you. And then they were thinking to themselves, I never trusted the government anyway. I thought they were up to no good. They're only pretending this is happening. All we read were lies about people dying. They just made it up. You know all these conspiracy theories. So, well, my position is always that if you don't really know what to do, then you should shut up and not do anything, and entertain all these views. But you can do no more if you're not really convinced one way or the other. And what I feel that the UK government has done was simply to kind of have a weak plan and then was easily diverted from it. I really liked the herd immunity one. I really wanted to think that Boris was man enough to stick to his guns, but he wasn't, and so now we're going into lockdown. So, most of the people I know seem to be going along with it. But I don't. I still think, I think I really am the only person saying this, aren't I? I've kind of... Okay, I haven't really looked that carefully. I think I might as well stick to my position, because, when I heard, lots of Italians have died, and I think there are more deaths there than China, and I think there was some talk about some lorry full of dead Italian corpses being taken somewhere to be cremated and stuff. And I thought to myself, should I feel uneasy? I don't. And I think, just with the snap of the fingers, if the government decided to go back to work, if Boris has said, well, this is silly. We're going to assert our independence by going back to work today, right now. I think people would be immensely cheered. They would be. I know they would be. I know I would be. And and then eventually they'll calm down. But obviously they don't want any, oh no, 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 we've got to go back into hiding again from the virus. And it just exasperates me that the government just seems to be reacting at the person who shouts at them loudest. I mean, obviously their experts won't agree. I mean, it's a given that they won't agree. They will have various theories. But, I mean, can't they work out that they won't really know how many people will die until they do die? Don't they know? I mean, I don't know much about all this, but we don't know if China is past its danger yet, do we? I mean, some people say, well, all this time of quarantining in China, it might be mutating, so it might come back even worse. So, we don't really know, and I guess we're just going to have to go around like dead men walking. Can we do it cheerfully? Even as we run out of toilet paper and food, and I suppose it'll be good for us to vary our routine and think about our lives and our possibly imminent deaths. And talk about it endlessly on YouTube, of course. Wishing that somebody would post something more interesting and engaging. What are you saying in recovery? You're saying beta male users will breed themselves out in time. No, I don't think so, though. There'll always be more beta males than there are alpha males. I mean, it's just logically be impossible to have more chiefs than Indians, right? Am I still buffering again? Well, it looks okay from here. But maybe, oh yeah, the other thing I heard was that the broadband for everyone might not survive everyone using it. So that's the other thing they were saying. And what Rabbi Mizrahi said, and it really made me laugh, that people will just kill themselves when they find they've lost their Wi-Fi. They really will kill themselves. Because it's like, yeah, they'll be happy if they can, carry on texting to each other and watching their porn and, and sending each other, suggestive sexual messages and sexting each other. But once once that shuts down, then they will they really will go crazy and kill themselves. So I don't know. How will I survive? I'd like to think I'd start reading again, I mean, I just hope that there won't be, after the epidemic, not too many, dead bodies in people's homes, completely neglected and whatever. But what should okay, just assuming that you're all right with your loo rolls and your fresh fruit and your fresh vegetables and your tinned food. I mean, I have enough, but I haven't got loads because I think part of the fun will be going out hunting for food. So I've left that option open to myself. And in fact, I was talking to a friend saying, "Oh, you're going to the shops, are you? Well, tell me, will it be all empty?" And I thought, well, they weren't empty the last few times I went. I mean, they were, well, a bit kind of cleared out, but it's not too bad. And then when she knew I must have come back, she said, "What what was there lots of? And I said, potatoes, and she laughed. So it really wasn't too bad. Perhaps I'm fortunate. I actually do give prayers of thanks to find my trips to the shop not as trying as other people have been telling me. So yes, I've heard of, I've had a few calls from people, and it was nice. It's kind of like Christmas. I keep saying the streets are as eerily quiet as Christmas, and of course it's not Christmas, and you think, oh, it's unnatural, it's spooky. And then you get people calling you, and it's nice because it's sort of like Christmas. People call each other at Christmas, and I think people on the whole are kind of laughing. Oh, well, sort of laughing and feeling anxious and whatever. And I think most of us, well, all of us really, should be grateful for the sources of comfort that we have in this trying time, that we can immediately have an audience by streaming, and a global audience, in fact, because that's what I have, a global audience. Not that many at the moment, but it's more intimate, isn't it, with just two people watching. Now, do I want to say anything more, since you're not really being very helpful about giving me more subjects to talk about? So maybe I should... Hello, Anti-Troll. Who cares about the old? Well, we all have old people that we care about, parents and things, don't we? So people may say, "Oh, look at you! You're a terrible person. You've said those. Who should did you catch my who should we leave to die stream? Did you catch that one? I was kind of listening to that in the bath, and I thought it was quite funny. I'm afraid these days I find myself listening to myself, and actually preferring to listen to myself. I know it's a terrible confession to make, isn't it? Yeah, I do listen to other people, of course, but sometimes I feel I have to listen to myself because I've forgotten what I said, for example. To be honest, I have forgotten. I do talk such an awful lot that I forget what I've said to myself. It's said even in that stream, and sometimes I listen to it out of curiosity, and I find myself, well, thinking it's not bad, really. I still surprise myself. I still find it quite amusing, and perhaps one day other important people, more important than you in the chat, will agree, and I'll, get some kind of job entertaining people in post-COVID, in our post-COVID world. So, yeah, we live in exciting times. It won't be the end of the world, because it wasn't the end of the world when we had the bubonic plague, was it? So, and I don't think the Messiah will come. But I guess it's a kind of, what's the word? I do equate it to God stamping his foot and us being the cockroaches scuttling away under the fridge. Are there lessons to be learned from it? I suppose it'll make us grateful for a whole lot of things. We wish for the normality of the busyness of the streets that we're accustomed to. We want, perhaps, not to make going shopping for food such an adventure. I was just thinking when I came back, I just want to do this shocking thing and cook have a dinner party. But of course, even if I did, nobody would come anyway. And are we allowed or not? I mean, it's like you think, what can and can't I do? Although, because I think yesterday the shops and restaurants were opened, and then it was like, yeah, they're open, but you're not supposed to go to them. And I thought, well, how unfair for these restaurateurs and pubs and cafes. Like, well, what are they supposed to do with this kind of, half in, half out mixed message? And it just, it makes me think how important clarity is. So, I think I positioned myself reasonably well about this, because I've been saying weeks ago that even if it were the bubonic plague, we have no option as rational, dignified, decent human beings to keep calm and carry on. And it's rather undignified to do this, in my view. I mean, it really isn't the end of the world. It may be the end of Western civilization as we know it, if we emerge from this with a different kind of government, when we the British might hear Boris say, look, we're a one-party state now, all the other parties are now illegal. Or I'm sure something fundamental will change. So yeah, we live in exciting times, and doubt. From doubt there comes, well, I suppose, our minds will be, working overtime. Should we go shopping? Should we not? I mean, I had a girlfriend who suggested going back to the shops with somebody else just to pick up more stuff. And I thought, there's no need. You've already said you've got so much stuff that you can't even store it in your home, that you've left it in the boot of the car. So it just seems so unnecessary. But the psychology is interesting, I grant you. And I see also that it could be my big opportunity if the government wants somebody to cajole people back into normality again and say, well, this will be the new era of blah blah blah, and I don't know. I still hope, and I guess I'm a hopeful sort of person. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a political activist, and I wouldn't be the kind of political activist who would promote such a radical and transgressive idea as secular Quranism, and I know that lots of you think it's hopeless. And okay, finally, I get to where I want to talk, what I want to talk about, which is how big we should think. And I suppose people kind of get it, that I maybe think too big and my ideas are too radical, and maybe I speak them too clearly. But I think if I were to die tomorrow, that I would have fewer regrets than most. I would have got a lot of it out of my system, and I think that's why I feel really quite calm and cheerful. Because I've been able to say what I think about how things are being done, how things are being run. I mean, what would be? I guess the worst kind of death would be thinking, oh my God, I should have done this, I shouldn't have done that. Oh no, I can't go back and change anything now. It's too late, too late. But I wish I had done that instead, or I wish I hadn't done that instead. And I think really that the most important thing is not to suppress your thoughts, but to live in a kind of environment where you do express your thoughts, and most people around you do get what you're trying to say. They may or may not agree with you, but they're able to at least oppose you intelligently, or even not intelligently, but I think even doing that is worthwhile. And then that, I suppose, is what I really enjoy doing, and I didn't have to stop, thank goodness. And even the very act of expressing yourself and explaining your views and, saying things in a different way because what you said first wasn't accepted, what could be more pleasurable and engaging than that? I really don't know of anything else, and I feel particularly privileged to have been able to do that at a truly fundamental level, in that I could do it without fear or favour, or I just wasn't prepared to let anything but truth, logic and morality intervene, and whatever I felt that was true or logical or moral, I was certainly going to defend it, or consider whether it ticked all three boxes. And yeah, I was mean to this person who's blocked me. Do I regret that? I mean, it did flash across my mind like, oh well, you could end up dead with the COVID, and do you want your memory to be left by, given such an unpleasant taste of saying all these mean things? And I thought, nah, I'm glad I said it. I'm glad I said it because, in fact, I should say it. I should say why I have failed. I failed because not because what I say doesn't make sense, but because there's no one to tell it to who would respond. So you could be a patient with the best medical care in the world, but for some reason if you reject all the treatment, if you'd be unresponsive. You wouldn't want to get any better. I don't know. You've got to have the right kind of mindset to even acknowledge that there was a problem in the first place, and that you're part of the problem, and it's your attitude that's the problem. And a lot of it is psychology. These people don't even know what they're doing. And I guess what's so infuriating is that I understand. I understand what they are doing and what they're thinking in order to do it. But they don't get it. Am I shadow banned? Can somebody check for me? They wouldn't bother to shadow ban me, would they? Little old me with my little secondary channel. I mean, are they just sort of closing down the broadband and making everything really slow? I mean, it's curious that all the people aren't there, or are they? Or they didn't get notifications, and YouTube is fucking around with all these things. All my pages are taking a really long time to load. So I guess that they're shutting down everything. They're going to shut down the broadband. They're going to... I don't know, are they? Or maybe they're not shutting it down, but it can't take the pressure. But it's quite late now, so there's no need for it to behave like that, right? I don't know. It's taking ages. So maybe I'll just end the stream and go to bed. And I guess I hope all three of you keep well, so we can meet again. Yeah, the notifications are being a bit strange. Alright, you're not saying anything that I can talk about. And I have said more or less what I want to say. I think, yeah, that we should obviously make the best of things. And now we will think about things a little more. And it'll be good for us to think about the purpose of our life and what we hope to accomplish, and maybe ask ourselves why we can't get the thing we want. Is it because we're not supposed to have it? Is it because we're stupid and have a bad attitude? Because of our terrible upbringing, or character defects that we don't